5,000 years ago, the ancient Egyptians looked up at the night sky and saw something most people missed. They saw a clock, they saw a calendar, they saw a map that could predict the future. And they were so accurate that some of their measurements are within minutes of what modern telescopes confirm today. Astronomy was not a hobby for the Egyptians. It was survival. Their entire civilization depended on knowing exactly when the Nile would flood. Too early and they would not be ready. Too late and they would miss the planting season. They needed a signal from nature that was perfectly reliable year after year. They found it in the stars. The most important star in the Egyptian sky was Sirius, the brightest star visible from Earth. Every year, after being invisible for about 70 days, Sirius would reappear just before dawn on the eastern horizon. The Egyptians called this the heliacal rising of Sirius, and they discovered that it happened at almost exactly the same time as the annual Nile flood. Sirius became their flood alarm, a signal from the sky that told them the most important event of the year was about to begin. From their observations of the stars, the Egyptians developed one of the earliest and most accurate calendars in the ancient world. Their year had 365 days, divided into 12 months of 30 days each, plus 5 extra days at the end. This is remarkably close to the actual solar year of 365¼ days. The Egyptians divided the night sky into 36 groups of stars called decans. Each decan rose above the horizon for about 10 days before being replaced by the next one. By tracking which decan was rising, Egyptian priests could tell the time at night with surprising accuracy. The decans were essentially the world's first star clock. The Egyptians used their astronomical knowledge to align their buildings with extraordinary precision. Many temples were built so that on specific days of the year, sunlight would enter the temple and illuminate a particular statue or chamber. The Temple of Abu Simbel is the most famous example. Twice a year, on February 22nd and October 22nd, the rising sun enters the temple and illuminates 3 of the 4 statues at the very back of the sanctuary. The 4th statue, representing the god of the underworld, remains in shadow. This alignment has held for over 3,000 years. The Great Pyramid is aligned to true north with an accuracy of 1/15 of a degree. Achieving this required careful observation of the stars. Researchers believe the Egyptians may have used the stars in the constellation we call the Big Dipper to find true north. By watching these stars rotate around the north pole of the sky, they could determine exactly where north was, with a precision that rivals modern instruments. The Egyptians created some of the earliest known star maps. Tomb ceilings were painted with detailed depictions of the night sky, showing stars, constellations, and the movements of the planets. Their constellations were different from ours. Where we see Orion the Hunter, they saw Osiris, god of the afterlife. Where we see the Big Dipper, they saw the leg of a bull. They mapped the same sky but told different stories with it. The Egyptians also tracked the sun. Obelisks served as sundials, their shadows marking the passage of hours. By recording the changing length and direction of an obelisk's shadow throughout the year, they could determine the solstices and equinoxes. This gave them a precise understanding of the solar year, knowledge that would later influence the Roman calendar and eventually the calendar we use today. 5,000 years ago, without telescopes, without computers, without any instruments beyond their own eyes, the Egyptians mapped the sky with a precision that still impresses modern astronomers. They used the stars to predict floods, mark time, align buildings, and navigate the afterlife. For them, the sky was not just something to look at. It was a tool, a calendar, and a gateway to eternity. And those same stars are still shining tonight. This was just one science, from one civilization. But the ancient world is full of discoveries like this. Ideas so precise that thousands of years later, we are still looking up and seeing what they saw. Next time on Lost Genius, we'll uncover another lost breakthrough the world forgot. Subscribe so you don't miss it.